All right, well, that's not going to work. That was great. Hello, everybody. I guess the video didn't get attached properly. It's sideways. I don't like that. Hello. What's happening? We are back. Effectively back. And we're so happy to see you. Was it silent? It shouldn't have been silent. I hope it's not silent. That's not good. Silent, but deadly? I hope not. Welcome. So, today we actually got home from our travels. We went on vacation for a week. We needed it badly. And now we're back. And I am super excited to be back to start off our new year. We knew that with, Christmas and the holiday season and everything, we were busy with all of that kind of stuff. But now, here we are in the 2025, and we have a brand new figure that we're going to be dropping for Mischief Toys over the next couple of days. We hope you guys go over to the website and sign up for our newsletter, and that way you can find out the most up-to-date information about Mischief Toys. I am so stoked over this drop because this is a huge one. 3 years of Gastly.
Yeah.
Being in the hands of the collectors.
I can't even believe it.
I am so excited that we have made it for 3 years. 3 very strong years. 2024 was our biggest year yet. We just keep doing better and better every single year, and I expect 2025 to be better than the year previous. So I'm super excited about that.
Me too.
So, Adam, thank you. Adam just posted up all the information about this brand new drop. I am coming back from this trip. We're going to get into our topic, but I'm coming back from this trip feeling really, really good.
Yeah?
So today I was driving home from our trip. We went to Florida, went to Disney World. I was driving back today, and I felt, I can't explain it, but I felt like my energy was gone and that I wouldn't be good this week with Gastlecast or Mischief Toys. I felt like, I don't know, like I just expended a lot of energy being at these parks, walking around. I ate absolutely too much food. I drank too much drink. It was just way too much. All week long was absolutely too much. But a good too much, because I feel like we really deserve to get away for a little while. It felt like just constant, non-stop action for the both of us between both the channel, Mischief Toys, doing all these different things, working all these businesses, working all day, coming home, and then being faced with Mischief Toys stuff, having meetings about Mischief Toys, having meetings at my day job. It's just like bang, 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 constant, like it never stops. So it was nice to sort of step away. My plan really was to make use older content with front and back bumpers discussing like videos that were our biggest videos ever, or most viewed videos ever. And frankly, I forgot everything at home, and I feel like that was the best thing that could have ever happened. We did make a couple of videos while we were on the road or while we were at our hotel, because there were certain things that were happening, and I thought it was, it's always important to cover certain things and have fun while doing it. I wouldn't do it if I wasn't having fun, but here we are, at our hotel hanging. It was a perfect time for us to film and do something stupid. And talk about things. And, you guys always want to hear our thoughts on stuff. And, I love to give you that, my thought process on things every chance that I can get, along with some funny observations, maybe. I feel like tonight's video, we posted a video before this live. It went up, and I was reading through comments, and people were super excited about it. They really liked it. They were laughing their butts off. Why are you looking at me?
At that video?
Yeah, they thought it was hilarious.
So they didn't click off the video?
No,
they
watched it.
Like I thought they...
No, they watched the whole video, Heather.
I can't believe it. It was so annoying.
It was so much fun. I actually went back and watched. I don't always go back and watch videos, but that one I did. And I really enjoyed Heather and I film all this stuff off the cuff, and we just sort of come up with things as we go. And I feel like this was a fun one. My whole TikTok, TikTok spiel. Yeah. Which is our discussion for tonight. So tonight, we're talking about TikTok and everything that's going on with it. It seems like when we go away, things happen.
Yes.
When we're home, nothing happens, and we're literally trying to scrounge up any material we can find to talk about it on the channel. And it just so happens that all week long there was stuff going on. Drop made an announcement, which we discussed. Now we have the TikTok thing, the Pokemon card game video that we posted tonight. All these things are happening while we're away. TikTok is the biggest thing, I think, of the entire week in terms of like collectible stuff, you know, in our world. Because although Heather and I aren't TikTok people, we have watched TikTok videos. I have in the past. I typically stick to Instagram Reels personally.
Same, because TikTok is really weird for me. Like my friends will send me videos on Messenger, and for whatever reason, I'm signed in on my TikTok app, but it doesn't take me to the app. It takes me to like Messenger, like Messenger. Facebook Messenger is trying to just take me to like their own website area.
Right.
And it forces me to sign in. And then when I sign in, it takes me to a completely different video. It's like such a weird glitch. And it happens no matter who sends me a video, but it used to take me directly to TikTok. TikTok isn't an app that I like look to open ever, typically. So
it's
like,
not your go-to.
No, but like before, when the glitch wasn't happening, people would send me videos. I would watch a video, and then it would move on to the next video. And then I'd get stuck in this like hour-long TikTok trance where I just keep scrolling and scrolling and watching dumb shit. And I do have a few content creators that I really, really like on TikTok, but again, it's not really an app that I use.
So the only time that I watched or used TikTok, literally the only time I ever watched it, was when when Russia, well, I mean, it's still going on, but the Russian and Ukrainians were posting videos of them fighting against the Russians. And it was like all this crazy like war zone footage. And I watched a lot of that because I just thought it reminds me of my father telling me about his childhood and watching on the news there was like Vietnam stuff happening. So like it was the same to me, was like the equivalent. So watching it, watching that type of content was really interesting to me as an old man, because that's what I've become. I've become an old man. Never watched watched any content creators that were like collectible related on TikTok. And not that I don't like them, I just didn't look for it. I never watched any of like the dance video things that happen, although I see them on Instagram. But there's a lot of different things I wanted to talk about in this video. So from the beginning until where we are today. But a really interesting note is that with TikTok, we were one of the first, I feel like one of the first channels ever reached out to by TikTok.
Yes.
So this happened, I want to say roughly in 2018, if I remember correctly. 2018, I think, is when they reached out to us. I have an email in our, from way back, where TikTok reached out to us and they're like, hey, this is who we are and this is what we're trying to do. And I remember talking to Heather about it and sort of laughing about it. And so...
okay, so here's the thing. So many of these little, like, social media platforms will pop up and then they're done. Like, remember when Instagram did Threads?
Yes.
And now, like, hardly anybody uses it unless they cross-post? Yeah, it's like that. So we were like...
We didn't know what it was. JM Sosa, I'll get to your comment. So, when they approached us, they had me... So, Heather wasn't at home. Heather worked a nighttime job at that time. And it was me at home on this meeting call with this guy. And he's like, I'm meeting with you and this other person. And so me and this other person, the other person just so happened to be like a dancer, like a girl who went to school, like ballet dancer. And so it was me, the TikTok guy, ambassador, and this dancer girl. And the guy's like, whatever her name is, Rachel, your dance and this and that. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, well, here's what you can do in your videos. And this is sort of what we're thinking, kind of what TikTok will be doing and the trends and so on. And he's like explaining all this stuff. And God only knows how they knew how TikTok was going to play out, but they had all these like bright ideas. And I was like, oh my God, this is not for us. And so he turns to me and he's like, yeah, so how about you? And I'm like, we talk about collectibles. And he's like, okay. I was like, yeah, we talk about collectibles, we unbox stuff, and I go, we just BS a lot. I go, I don't really know if we're short content, like we're like kind of long format. We're not a short format thing. I was like, I don't think we could do this. Like to me personally, it makes no sense to do this. And so he kind of talked me about, talked me through it and like how it could be something for us. And quite frankly, I never went that route. Never did it. So here we are, many years later. We probably should have started back then because things might have been completely different for Gastlecast in terms of timeline and trajectory. But maybe we should have, maybe we shouldn't have. I think where we ended up is just fine by me because we grew a really solid fan base, which we always receive comments from people. They're like, wow, your fan base isn't like a humongous one, but you have a really solid fan base, like people who really like watching you, and they stick with you. And to me, that's the most important personally.
Yeah.
Is that you have this group of people who are with you all the time throughout all the things that you go through. I'd rather have that than like this huge band of people that just disperse and disappear all the time, personally. Yeah. But obviously, that's not going to generate the same revenue as somebody who's being watched by millions of viewers, right? So it's a bit of a different story for us. TikTok may have gotten us into that million follower thing, and we might have become two big assholes. We might not be the people that we are the big assholes now, but we would have been short format assholes.
Yeah.
And that could have been different for us.
Yeah.
You never know. Anything could have happened. It could have went south.
Apparently, like, more followers on TikTok doesn't necessarily mean very much.
No, it's your amount of views or trending.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and I don't think we'd ever. I mean, I fell down in front of the house one time. I thought for sure that would start trending, but it didn't go anywhere.
No, nobody cares.
Nobody cared that I fell down and broke my tailbone.
There's too much of that on the internet. Now, had that happened like 20 years ago and you put it on the internet, maybe something would have come out of that.
Right. Yeah,
put it on your MySpace.
If I should have left the back part of that video. I actually cut it because when I slipped and fell down, my entire pants and underwear came off. Like went all the way down to my. Did I tell you that? Like my pants and underwear basically came down and my entire ass was out.
You should have left that. I don't know why you didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I think we would have gotten a lot of views.
You might have gotten a porn deal.
So that is my very first kind of like instance with TikTok. That was the first time I'd ever sort of come in contact with it. Then eventually, as time went on, I would hear about it every once in a while. But it wasn't until we went to Poppin' Off Toys in Nashville and we met a bunch of TikTok Funko influencers. Mm-hmm. Because it just so happened that Poppin' Off Toys had become friends with some of them. And some of them are friends of ours even until today.
Yeah.
We've grown, like Sidekick Inc., mm-hmm. as an example. We've become pretty close with him. And so we met them, and they were explaining to us like how TikTok works and viewership and all those types of things. Because I'm thinking to myself, like, how do you get a solid viewership out of people who are watching a video of you just standing there and doing something for like, I don't know, 10 seconds? Like, to me, it just didn't make, like, how do you connect with somebody?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I typically watch longer form videos when I watch TikTok.
Right.
But I like the app because it's like easy to scroll through and you can find like shorter form stuff. But the content creators that I like the most have much longer videos.
Gotcha. Well, so I'm not saying those guys didn't do that. I'm just saying I didn't understand because I didn't understand TikTok at all. So I'm thinking like, how do people connect with people who have short formats?
Yeah.
But as I learned after that, it was like TikTok was much bigger than I ever thought it was.
Oh, and it's huge.
Especially back then when I had originally been proposed to by one of the ambassadors.
They proposed to you?
They did.
Did you let them know that you were married?
At the time, I wasn't.
Wow.
What?
Did you let them know you were engaged to be married?
We weren't engaged yet, I don't think.
Yes, we were. 2017, we got engaged.
Okay, I don't know if I told them that or not. Heather, I was trying to make deals. I was wheeling and dealing. Give me a break. Give me a break.
Wiener deals.
Wiener deals.
Dick deals.
I was doing dick deals.
Dick deals.
So I learned a bit then. And then, again, time went on. This is when I started watching those videos. I talked about those Warzone sort of videos.
Yeah, and then that was so wild.
Yeah, a lot of really crazy things happened there. And then eventually we get to the conversations, which was started by President Trump years ago, that TikTok was going to be banned.
Yeah.
And the reason why TikTok was going to be banned,
it's a security thing, right?
it was due to the fact that the Chinese or China was collecting data from the users. So there,
Okay,
and so
so,
what?
I
Hold
mean-
on. So what was explained on like news sources and things is that it was like capturing facial recognition, capturing any personal data that you might put into the app, right? But this is data, by the way, that has been mined and stolen. So anytime you have data that's stolen, right? You hear about like it's on the dark web and all this. A lot of the times that's being gathered by the Chinese or some other country. That's what
that
happens.
we're not friends with.
That we're not friendly with. Now, China is known for being a huge hacker. That country is just full of hackers doing not very good things. So the United States is basically like, look, this company is not owned by the United States, and there is no stake in it by the United States, and the United States must own some part of TikTok in order for us to continue allowing it in our country. So Trump is now saying, I just read an article, he's saying that he wants the U.S. to own 50% of TikTok.
What he's trying to do, though, I think he's trying to get people to, like, praise him.
Well, okay. So, yeah. So I believe that there is a little bit of truth to what you're saying. So this is a good way for Trump to get approvals, or because he's always looking for people to love him.
Yeah.
So this is a way to get people to love him.
Well, because he loves himself.
This is a way to get people to love him.
In a really obsessive
way. And say, oh my
way.
God, he's amazing. He got TikTok back. It's a pretty interesting thing watching this all play out. And it'll be interesting to see what the end result is, because right now, as it stands, we are in a trial period. I believe it's 90 days. Don't quote me on that. But there's only like 90 days in which this is going to play out right now until they come up with an agreement to make it a finalized TikTok is allowed.
I am just so baffled that this is what everyone's concerned about. Like, there's so many other things in this world, and I don't want to get too deep into this, but there's so many other things in this world than TikTok that anyone should be worried about.
So another country taking data from people here in the United States, that country taking our data is not a good thing.
No.
And then the end result will never be good, right?
No, of course
not. And so I don't know a whole lot about, I only know a little bit from what I read, but it does not sound good. Like the end result is it's a bad end result.
Well, for a long time.
Here's what shocks me about this. Why hasn't there been a company been developed in the US that mimics TikTok?
That's what I'm wondering too. So we used to have Vine. Vine, I'm pretty sure, was owned it was from the US.
Right.
But then that disappeared, and I don't remember why.
So you would think that the US would basically say, we are going to, or not the US, but some company in the US is going to say, we're developing now something called Micmac. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like, we're making something that's
a
similar.
brilliant name, because they're mocking TikTok.
There you go. TikMok. So, but they make this thing, and then basically they gather all those people from TikTok, because now I saw somebody the other day post on social media, they're like, I'm no longer using TikTok, I'm now using this, and it was a Chinese word, and they're like, I'm going to use this Chinese app because screw what's happening in the US, and I'm like, oh my God, what is going on here? Like, this is really going crazy now. Twitter owned Vine. I didn't know anything about Vine, by the way.
Vine disappeared because of Instagram. Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know. So I had a Vine account, and I had like a handful of really funny, like, stupid videos.
Vine must have been out when I was like not involved in social media at all. Like, I remember MySpace and then Facebook, and that's it. I don't remember Vine. I don't remember any of that.
So Vine originated one of my favorite videos. It was Damn Daniel back at it again with the white vans. Do you remember that video?
You showed me that.
It's so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But that was like one of my favorite things ever. Let me see if I can
Twitter
find
owned
it.
Vine and couldn't monetize it enough to justify keeping it running.
That's interesting.
Twitter discontinued it for that reason. Was created in 2011, but discontinued in 2016. That is so weird because I do not remember that period of time. And you and I were together in 2014. Were you using Vine then?
I want to say I was using Vine in like 2011.
I thought Vine was earlier than that. I thought it was like 2007 or something.
Created. Oh, June 2012. That sounds about right. Like 2012, 2013. Because it was a camera. I think it was called a flip camera. And you could only record for a short period of time on the flip camera. This is what it looked like. Mine was black.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. But hold on, let me show you my favorite.
Zachary Stone says, I love Bad Dad.
Oh, he was fun.
Daniel. Daniel. Back at it again with the white van.
It was so stupid.
That is really dumb.
But I was really upset when Vine shut down because my videos were like just really dumb.
So let's move into a different part of the conversation. So we know, I'm talking about my timeline. So when I found out about TikTok up until today, and why they're trying to take it away is for the data mining or stealing of American citizen data. So that's that. Okay? Well then, let's talk about the effects of this. So TikTok has, now we're talking from a place that we understand, which is why we're even doing this, why we're even talking about this. A place that we understand, which is Funko collector creators on TikTok. So we knew that group of people. There's like 5 or 6 of them. And we knew them. Or we talked to them. We now we know
5 or 6 that we knew.
Yeah, that we met.
Yeah.
And then now we know like 1 or 2 of them. Really good people doing their own thing. But aside from that, there are so many people on TikTok today making a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah.
They have made they have made a living off of it.
Yeah.
Based off their content, based off sales. The most interesting thing I've been seeing though is that you have all these folks on social media elsewhere saying, ha ha ha, get over it, it's stupid, F TikTok, right? Saying all these really crazy things. I'm thinking,
fuck.
And I'm thinking, that really, that's cool that that's fun and all to say that as like you're joking, like ha ha ha, I'm old and I don't understand TikTok, so screw it. Like I understand the joke from that aspect of it, but there are some people out there making livings, and there was this person that made a comment that like it blew me away. They basically said they should really. Do I have the comment? Because I swear I saved it, but it was something along the lines of people should go out and make real livings. Oh.
I saw that.
Okay, so somebody says, oh, Fox News, missing the whole point, but Fox News wouldn't understand. This is from a Fox News post. No, they understand that you're losers and that you don't want to work for money. You think everybody should just give it to you. And no, that's not how it works. Go get a job. Go earn your money instead of making some stupid video that nobody really wants to watch because it shows how stupid you are.
I saw that comment.
I sent it to you.
Oh, so that's why I saw it.
What's interesting about that is that I'm going all over the place. We now live in a world where you can do these things and you can earn a living from it.
Yes.
So people can go online like Heather and I. We do make money off of YouTube. It's not very much money.
Not much at all.
But we make content and we can make some money off of it, right? There are people out there who are making a ridiculous amount. I see people in there getting enough money where they're buying like cars and houses. Yeah. Right? So because their shit is just like top tier, trendy, I guess. Yeah. Would be the best terminology because we're not trendy. Come on. We talk about collectibles. We make stupid fart jokes, and that's just sort of what we do. That's just who we are. I'm just not going to be a trendy type of guy. It's just not who I am. Yeah. But there are people out there who are, and they make a ridiculous amount of money off of it. Do I hate them for that?
No.
No. I would not hate them for that. And I think what that is it stems from some form of jealousy. Like people like that are jealous that they're making money doing what they're going to do.
Because
they're
that
doing what they're doing.
person either doesn't have the balls or just chooses not to put themselves out there, which is fine. Like that's fine if you don't want to do that, but don't tell someone to actually like get a job or whatever, because we put a lot of time into this channel, and like we had just mentioned, we hardly make any money off of it, and we don't have a crazy amount of viewers, we don't have a crazy amount of subscribers, but we do it because we enjoy it. But we sit at this desk almost daily, you edit, we research to make content. It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
It really is. I mean, it's a lot of work to be as cool as we are, honestly.
Yeah.
But I'm just kidding. But it truly is a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
For people who do some much different videos, like a lot of people put a lot of money into their videos. Now, you know, we show off collectibles, you know, there's money that goes into hot toys and stuff like that, but I know that there are content creators out there who put a lot more money into their videos than we do. Some people even hire like editors and stuff like that.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's crazy.
The amount of people we've been approached by over the years about, hey, let me edit your content. You pay me and I'll edit your content. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Because the way that I visualize certain things and the comedy and kind of what we infuse in our content, like I see it a certain way. Yeah. And I don't trust that in somebody else's hands. I really don't. So it's, for me, it's like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to follow through with it and do the whole thing. Now, on that note, there has to be a time where if we do, or if we ever become big enough, you might have to hire an editor because you need enough time in order to do certain things. Yeah. But to your point, there are people out there on TikTok that are growing. They probably have a team of people that work for them. Yeah. For TikTok to be banned and go away is really rough. Yeah. And it'll affect a lot of people.
But what I was saying was based off of the comment that you mentioned where someone was like, well, get a real job. And they act as if it's not a real job. Like, there's a podcast that I listen to, and I know that they have, it's over 50 people working on, it's like, maybe like 7 or 8 podcasts. But it's a huge group of people between the producers, the editors, the researchers, the hosts, things like that. It's not a small production all the time. Right. So the fact that someone's saying, like, get a real job, like, do something for real, like, entertaining people is a real job. That, I mean, why else would movies and TV shows be so big? And music and things like that, you know what I mean? Like, people want entertainment. People want to laugh. People want to learn. People want to, like, people seek out certain content for a reason.
Agreed.
Like, typically when I search out content, it's either informative or comedic. Like, there's a stupid TikTok that I used to follow, which, by the way, the other night, or was it last night when TikTok went away? I deleted the TikTok app. Big mistake. You can't re-download it. So now I can't even tell you the names of the creators because...
You can't download it right now?
No, I cannot download TikTok right now. There's been like a pause on it. You can't download it. But if you have had TikTok, like if you didn't delete it...
No, I'm asking right now because the ban is like... Their ban's not there anymore.
You can't download the app though.
Really?
Yeah. So look, when I search TikTok, looking for TikTok, downloads for this app are paused due to current U.S. legal requirements.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. So, but anyway, when I go to TikTok, there's a handful of creators that I like. And it's all comedy. So there's this one stupid creator on there. Not stupid, but it's like stupid content. Like dumb, funny stuff like I would like. They take these little, like, animals that are, like, flocked, and they create stories with them.
Oh, I saw you showed me that.
Yes, it's so stupid. Like, it's bunnies and bears, and I think, like, tigers and puppies and cats and things like that. and like a bunny will find her man cheating on her with like a bear girl or whatever, and then like she murders him or something. Like it's stupid. Like it's almost like a little puppet show, but it's these little like flocked figurines, and it's so dumb, but it makes me laugh so hard. I love shit like that. That stuff takes a lot of work. That's like stop motion, what they do. It's...
What's not stop motion?
Okay, it's something similar. I don't know how
stop motion takes forever, but it's literally they just put the little figures there, and then they change the pic, like they move things around a little bit for like
stop motion.
Well, no, they make scenes.
It's stop motion.
It's not stop motion.
It's similar enough.
It is not.
Okay, all I know is that would take fucking forever, especially because they caption it. And it's not AI captions because they do it themselves. They have their own style of writing. It's not AI. They do it. Like, they create that. It has to take a long time for them to do it. And I love those stupid little videos.
Right.
And they deserve whatever they make off of those.
Well, let's take some comments here.
And I think that's a real job.
Okay. So, is it just me or what? No job today is necessarily secure. Well, maybe healthcare and plumbers.
Yeah, I keep plumbers in business.
So we all have to at least think about side hustles. Yeah, agreed. You know, but the thing is that one day you just sort of turn the switch off and you're like, okay, TikTok's over. All those businesses, which is the reason why our incoming president of the United States is saying, we're going to put this back on for 90 days and then see what happens. They're trying to figure this out because they know how many businesses are hinged on that app. That app has created so many new businesses. It's created so many different stores. We've actually been approached by some marketing people about selling product on TikTok, using a TikTok store for Mischief Toys. Now, we've never done it, obviously, and the reason why we've never done it is that we really don't understand TikTok, and we're not even sure how much of our audience would care to be on TikTok to buy our products. But it's obviously a good thing because we've heard that from multiple people about how those shops on there do really well for businesses, which is great. But if you turn that off, turn a switch down, what happens? I mean, so one thing is a lot of people were talking about how comical it was that people were crying on TikTok about how they're, what are they going to do now? Like up until the impending doom of it being shut off.
That really pissed me off because it made
what pissed you off?
People
making
judging
fun of them?
People for being upset over it, because that's, I didn't see any of the content. I don't know who exactly was posting that content, but if there are people who don't have a job at this moment, or they have like a mediocre job where they don't make a lot of money or whatever, and TikTok can possibly be a source of income for them, that's almost as if your boss saying, hey, you're fired. No reasoning, nothing you can do. You're just gone today.
Yeah, it's rough.
I mean, now, would I post a video of, like, specifically of me being upset? Probably not, but everybody's different, and I don't think that feeling should be judged.
You're saying you wouldn't be upset like that? Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't film myself crying,
you wouldn't film yourself.
like, specifically.
I agree. I wouldn't do that either. And that's happening a lot lately. That's like a trend where people video themselves crying and stuff.
Yeah, like, it's
really weird.
It's one thing if, like, something huge, like a major event happens, and it's almost like a historical type thing that, you want to, I guess, put out there on the internet or, like, journal. But to cry about TikTok is a bit different.
Well, I mean, I think their reason for crying is that their life was about to be
I think it's valid. I really do, but I don't know.
The app not being able to be downloaded right now is a rough thing too.
It's weird.
Well, no, it's not weird. I know why they're doing. I mean, they're basically.
But they're allowing people to still be on it. You just can't download it.
They're showing like, hey, this is what will happen. We're not afraid to do it.
Yeah.
And I think it's their way of figuring out how they can have the U.S. version of it. Who knows what the end result of all this is going to be. I understand why it's being done. I don't necessarily agree with how it's being done, but I think there has to be some sort of viable solution in place to make this transition play out and work
Question.
where it helps people, because in the reality is you're affecting American citizens. But I certainly don't want there to be an app that could affect the U.S.
And our
affect
safety.
our safety of our
Yeah.
citizens. And a lot of people, you even said it yourself, how could we sit around and be worried about this? I hate hearing that, because we're talking about, national security in some respects of data being out there and being used. It's just not good. I mean, it's just not good with the data that is being taken from all of us as U.S. citizens and whatever it's going to be used for. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Right? Especially like facial recognition. There's a lot of weirdness going on there. I read that today on one of those news sources about, I didn't even think about that. Facial recognition being taken. That's really creepy.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's really creepy. Inarea says a compromise.
So I have a question.
Sure.
When Trump, God, I hate saying any politician's name on this channel. I'm sorry, guys. But when Trump proposed the ban his previous term, was there any sort of compromise, like thoughts of compromise, or was it just, I want to ban this?
You know what? I don't remember. But I want to say that it was something like, let's ban. But if I remember correctly, we were sort of in the same boat back then. It was trying to make it, and I thought they came to some sort of agreement back then, but it was basically that, like, the data centers where all of our data would be held would be in the U.S. or something.
Interesting.
Or that some U.S. would have a stake in it somehow. Like, there was something there, or I don't know. There was some sort of protection in place or something, if I remember correctly. At least that was the conversation. But now, it doesn't seem... I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea.
Yeah, it really just makes me feel like this is some sort of weird stunt. Like
I don't think it's a weird stunt, because this was the Biden administration is the ones who's saying that they're taking it down. It wasn't Trump.
But he's the one that's trying to leave it up for he's the one trying to appease younger people, specifically because younger people are more in the TikTok demographic.
So you can look at it that way, but you could also look at it from the perspective of it will hurt the economy when people aren't making their money anymore.
No, I agree.
So you have to have a good running economy. You want people to be able to make money and live the American dream. You don't want to just take it away from everybody at one time, because think about the amount of people that are wrapped up into that selling stuff. I'm sure there's somebody just a few houses down from us right now that have sold things on TikTok, or possibly in our neighborhood. Somebody, at least one other person that we around us, makes money on TikTok by selling stuff or doing something.
Yeah.
For all we know. I mean, I don't know that for 100% fact.
I would imagine so.
But I would imagine that would be the case.
I mean, there's millions of people who create content on TikTok.
What my point is that although I think that it's not good that our information is being stolen, I think there should be a better way in which to fix this problem.
Yeah.
There's got to be some other way. But look,
I liked your idea of someone creating an app very similar to TikTok, but different enough for, them to not get in trouble. But really, how much trouble can you get in if you're mimicking an app from a different country? How do the legalities work then?
Well, I mean, look, you got Reels, you got Facebook videos, or whatever the hell you call them.
Yeah, but it's not as user friendly as TikTok.
Right, but I don't know what they have in place, as in what rights they hold. What's the word I'm looking for? Proprietary, or whatever that would mean for TikTok and how they do things. I don't know if they own something that says they only are the only ones who can do that.
Got it.
There has to be somebody else who can do it. But all I'm saying is that this ban will hurt many. It would be nice, which I think this new president, or the President Trump coming in, is going to try to find a way in order to make this work, or make some sort of deal. Who knows? I mean, at this point, I don't know. But I do like Craig's comment. That ban was a nice few hours of not getting stupid links from my girlfriend. Zombie Monkey says copyright. Yeah, maybe copyright. I don't know. Copyrights fits it, but basically, like the proprietary data that makes up TikTok, right?
Yeah.
So, like, however they do what they do on that app, can somebody else go back and just make an app that's similar to it, but just in the United States? I'm surprised that there isn't a United States version of it, even if it were TikTok. All of our data is stored in the U.S. and it is secured and protected in the U.S. I think that's kind of what we're going for, but who the hell knows? I don't know. All I know is that it's not good what's happening. It's going to affect many. And I think a lot of people are trying to think of, like, what is their secondary option?
Yeah.
Do we move to Instagram? Like, will Instagram, because I was reading an article where will other social medias become stronger? Facebook, Meta, Instagram, Snapchats. Will some of these things become much bigger and stronger now that TikTok would then be wiped away?
Yeah, but Snapchat is a different thing, and
I just threw that out there. It wasn't an article.
I know. But Snapchat is
That's how you send nudes,
loaded.
and then they're immediately deleted, so nobody knows you sent the nudes.
But I mean,
that's
sure
literally
that
what it
they're
was
out
made
there
for.
somewhere. Yeah.
It was made so you could cover up them nudes.
Like, I will sometimes, like, I don't have very many friends on Snapchat, so, like, once I get through all my friends, then I'll watch, like, there's certain, like, story type things that they have on Snapchat, but it's really annoying because they're loaded with ads.
Yeah.
Like, I'll watch, like, a 10-minute, like, Snapchat thing, and there will be at least, like, 20 ads running in between.
Oh, 100%.
It's obnoxious. It is so stupid.
Larissa has an interesting comment. Go ahead and read that.
Yes, I wanted to read that. She said, an interesting comment I read brought up what kind of effects the ban would have on the book industry because of how popular book talk has become. The ban could spread further than we think.
What's book? I never heard of book talk.
So book talk is basically a section of TikTok. I mean, it's not necessarily a section. Like, you can search, like, different hashtags. So on book talk, it's people, like, rating books that they read or talking about their favorite book or, you know, discussing books, right? So I know this will probably be a bigger one, but It Ends With Us, the book by Colleen Hoover, became really big because of book talk. And that was just turned into that movie with Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
Okay.
So would that have ever happened without book talk?
Interesting.
Like, would Colleen Hoover have sold as many copies of It Ends With Us and it turned into this, like, major motion picture that was in theaters if it weren't for book talk?
So
we don't know.
Eliza D says, so what happens when Facebook and Meta and X buy TikTok and own all of our info? Well, you would then be talking about the U.S. owning your info.
But wouldn't they already have our info with Facebook and Instagram?
Well, I mean, look, where we are now, anybody who's made a TikTok or you know, entered their data into TikTok, I mean, you could say that most of the information there has been taken, and who knows what's happening with it. But true, Eliza making a very good point. When anybody takes your data, it can't be a good thing. Like, your data, unless you know it's being secured, which I believe that Facebook and those apps, Meta, tell you that your data is secure.
But is it really?
Well, I think you're taking a chance.
Because how often do people say, my Facebook got hacked, add me on this account? You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I guess hacking's a different story, but it's still messed up.
Right, it is messed up. Yeah. So we would never gotten a nice pool without book talk.
Yeah.
Good point. Yes. Did you hear about the nice pool thing?
Mm-mm.
You didn't hear about that. So that actor from that movie,
Justin Baldoni.
He's in a fight with her.
Oh, yes. So I know that they're in a fight. So was he saying that Nice Pool was using
based
his
off
likeness?
of him. It's based off him. And so
Why is it based off of him?
Apparently he believes that it's based off of, like, everything to do with him, and they're making fun of him.
Okay, but it was fucking hilarious.
Well, that's the point, is that it's comedy, and comedy, when any comedy movie, especially when you're doing like parody type stuff. You're making fun of different people or things. It happens all the time. This guy, I don't know what the story is with him, and I don't know enough about it. But him and
It's
Blake
weird.
Lively are having a real big issue.
Yeah, and you don't know who to believe.
No.
Right?
Huh.
Like it's just two people against each other. One person saying he said this, and the other person saying she said that, or whatever. But from what I've read, and I don't want to misspeak because I don't know enough about it. It hasn't been to court yet. Blah 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 blah. A lot of people are saying that there's more evidence against him.
Right.
But I don't know. It seems like. It almost seems like they just don't like each other, so they're trying to find reasons to like go after each other or something. It's really bizarre.
It's
yeah, really bizarre.
It's gotten to a kind of a gross point.
But there was some really ugly accusations from her, like toward like things that she's saying that he did, and it's like if he did those things, which all of what I've read is pointing to that was the case, that's not good. Like it's really
well, you believe
your
your girl Blake?
No, I'm not on.
No, because I mean
side.
she's friends with Taylor Swift.
It has nothing to do with anything.
You're not siding with her.
I would never side
Taylor
with
Swift?
somebody based off of who people are friends with. That's stupid.
Okay.
Don't insult my intelligence.
Don't insult your what?
Intelligence.
He was also in a giant lawsuit with Ryan's wife because of their movie, $400 million lawsuit, and another $100 million for the others. Crazy. Over 200 pages of documents if you read it. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was It Ends With Us.
I would say there's more evidence against her. He kept the receipts and dropped all kinds of screenshots of text messages,
Really?
etc. Oh boy.
Interesting. Well, I'm gonna have to look more into that. This was like a couple weeks. Like I haven't been keeping up with it. But this was probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago that I last read anything about it. That's wild.
Adam Eng is keeping us up to speed for the Ravens.
Interesting. Buffalo will win. Fuck. Weren't they like 1 point behind? I've been like sort of keeping up with it. They're 2 points behind.
This is the perfect time to transition over to Mischief Toys. Who wants to see the brand new Mischief Toys figure, the 3-year anniversary figure, sketch Gastly and pin? We're going to show it right here to you in person. Well, sort of in person, virtually. We'll show you this figure. I want to give you a little bit of background on this figure. It's very special. The reason why it's very special is the fact that it does mark our 3-year anniversary. But more importantly, I told Heather that this is a horrible idea and that it should never happen and that it was dumb and don't do it and let's not waste our time and I think it's stupid. And then Heather was like, you're stupid. And then I said, hey. And then Heather said, we're doing it anyway. And I said, okay. And then Heather went ahead and did it. And this figure came out so brilliantly perfect. It is unbelievable. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would actually have a figure of basically, the reality is it's my own design. As you all know, or for those who maybe do not know, Mischief Toys was started off of a little drawing of Gastly that I made one night.
He had an idea.
Very late at night one night when I was lying in bed. Heather was sleeping as I watched, I can't remember what movie it was. I think it was American Pie 2. But I was watching a movie and Heather was sleeping and I decided I was going to draw a little picture. And this is the little picture that I drew. Which now has sort of gone down in history as I guess the very beginning of Gastly. The reason why this is so special is that I drew this picture not necessarily knowing what I was going to, not necessarily knowing what it would become today. Originally, it was made for a contest for a toy company, which I'm not going to name, and I entered it into the contest incorrectly, which basically was a null and void. But after I created this, character, I said to Heather, I go, even though I didn't necessarily, you know, send the picture in properly or my story in properly, we should do something with it. And it started out with a sticker. And I wonder if anybody out there still has that damn sticker.
Yeah.
Because it was a square, if I remember correctly.
It was a square.
A square sticker,
right? It was
right?
not die cut. It was on... I don't think that you and I cut them out. I think that the people we got them from cut them out.
Yeah.
So it was on a square, but the sticker itself was die cut. But there was still, like, square... It was cut onto vinyl.
Right.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
But it's interesting because we never kept anything. No. I don't think we kept the sticker. We didn't keep much from the early days, due to the fact that we were so hell-bent on getting Gastly out there, not really caring to keep anything to ourselves. And then also with the pin sets, we were just selling them to everybody because we wanted people to have them, again, to sort of carry Gastly out into the world. And also to be able to get the amount of money that we needed to make the very first mold.
Yeah.
Which ends up spawning our, common Gastly figure, which is this little guy right here.
Classic.
And, it's interesting. Gastly was created during the time of the pandemic. And we didn't have a 3D modeler. We literally had a picture of Gastly that I had created. Our artist Noel perfected. We sent it over to our manufacturer. I remember we drew a little picture, we cut it out, and then we put it next to a Funko Pop to sort of show what the size was going to be. Funnily enough, the figure was supposed to be bigger than this. He was going to be like this big. And for whatever reason, the manufacturer totally misunderstood, which isn't crazy to me now, because they misunderstand a lot of things, and they made them a lot smaller. I remember receiving these figures originally, way back in 2022. And we had the box. It was the proto box. And I'm looking at it because I have the box that's this big. And I'm thinking, what the fuck happened? Like, he was supposed to be so much bigger. And I opened the box up and there he is. This little guy is inside. And I was like, this is perfect. I really like the size.
Yeah,
in that moment.
Initially, we were thinking, like, we need to contact the manufacturer and have them make it larger. Like, this is not what we wanted. But the more we looked at it, the more we fell in love. Yeah,
we loved the size of this figure. And, of course, when we sent over our drawing, they ended up 3D modeling it for us, which we had to pay that cost. Like, there's a lot of costs associated with making this little figure. Mm-hmm. And, in fact, it kind of turned us upside down. Frankly, we didn't have all the money that we needed to make this dream happen, but we scrounged it up and figured it out. I remember Heather and I trying to figure out how we were going to pay for this. And I remember calling our parents to try to see how we could gather up the cash to do it. And it was a pretty kind of gnarly situation where we didn't want to go to anybody. We wanted to do it on our own. And somehow, some way, we didn't borrow money from anybody, and we did it on our own. Yep. Even so, if I remember correctly...
I remember talking to my dad.
I know how I did it. I pulled money out of my 401k.
I remember that.
Yep, I pulled money out of my 401k from my day job. And so I was able to get the amount of money that I needed in order to make this dream come true, which it is a dream. Because here he is sitting today. A lot of you guys out there have these figures sitting inside of your collections and in your homes, and shirts and plushes and stickers and all sorts of crazy stuff, which is insane. Look, as an example, just sitting in front of me, I got a proto figure here. I got another proto figure here. I got a Christmas little Gastly right here. Heather, there's a Demonstro over there. Can I see him? I just want to kind of show like the showcase of all the different things that we have sitting right here in front of us. We got a black light Demonstro, one of my personal favorites. I got them tattooed on me.
These are two different molds, by the way.
Yeah, they are.
This one has a belt and teeth. This one does not have a belt and teeth molded on.
Yeah.
We have a ton of molds for the regular Gastly.
Yeah. But look, I mean, we've come a long way. It's only been 2022, 3 years since we've started doing this. The first year we did a handful of figures. Second year, we did a little bit more. And last year, we did the most amount of figures we've ever done in one single year. The most pins we've ever done in a single year. Biggest New York Comic Con ever. Just one hell of a year for 2024. So this year, in Mortem, yes, thank you, Brian. Yeah, Mortem, our newest ad. Actually, there's a, can you grab that figure for me? Would you mind? I was going to show that as well. And Mortem's sitting over there if you wanted to grab one. He's sitting right in front of that monitor. So then there's this guy, Mortem, as everybody knows now. He's become a big deal. And then this proto, this is one of our various protos of King Kong Gastly. As you can see, he has no face. He's a faceless proto Gastly. Even got that big old butt. Got that big old butt.
He don't got a face, but he got a big butt.
Yep, this is before we figured out what the face was going to look like. So they sent this over to show us what the mold was going to look like. But look, I mean, we are surrounded by, a lot of you that are here right now, super supporters of all the things that we've done, surrounded by figures that we love, all these different molds. Somebody commented the other day, and they said something along the lines of, I love Mischief Toys, but I hope they have more molds, different molds. And boy, have we made so many goddamn molds. I feel like we've made so many molds over the last couple of years, more than a lot of people I think realize when they look at our lineup altogether.
Well, not just that, but the reason I've said this on numerous occasions, the reason why I love what we do so much is that Gastlys don't really look the same. We have so many different colorways, so many different paint applications. Like, you can set this guy next to Toxic Gastly and they're completely different. Like, when you're as small as we are, we don't have the funds to create a new mold every single time. Like Funko, they might reuse a mold a handful of times, or maybe a little bit more than a handful, like the Thanoses that were all the different colors of the Infinity Stones. But
which I love that, by the way.
I do too.
Aside from this conversation.
You have to get very creative when you're as small as we are. And I feel like we've spent a lot more than we should on new molds, but it's because we want to do new fun things. And I think it's always challenging and fun to see what we can do with what we have existing.
Well, but we have several new molds coming this year. So
we do.
This year is packed full of new molds and some reused molds and doing different things. But the conversation is mostly about the brand new Gastly coming this Wednesday, which is January the 22nd at 12 p.m. Eastern. So this Gastly is very special, as we mentioned, because he's the original Gastly drawing in figure form. So firstly, how about the pin? So the Gastly head pins are my favorite. And so for those who do not know, Gastly's original name was spelled Gastly. And the reason why we spelled it that way is so we wouldn't run into any issues with Gastlys that are out in the world, like the Pokemon Gastly. We didn't understand trademarks. We didn't understand how any of that stuff worked just yet.
Yeah, well, it turns out we didn't have to change
We didn't have to change it. But nowadays, I'm happy that I did because it adds a little something extra to our story. And also, for me personally, I thought it was cool because my middle sister, her name is Ashley, L-E-Y at the end. So it sort of infused a little bit of that into what we do too. It sort of has some more family-related stuff because that's what's important to me. But this is the Gastly pin for the 3-year anniversary, Sketch Gastly.
And that head is the same shape. Literally every single thing about it is the same as your original drawing.
Yep, the same as the original drawing, flat, just like the stickers and just like the pin, or not the pins, the artwork. So this is the first pin of its kind, where it's a totally different mold. So this pin is very special. Now, you'll see that the original name, Gastly, with the L-Y, is scratched out, and Gastly is written up top. It's like it's being corrected, basically. So it shows you a little bit of our history of Mischief Toys, which I think is great. But I'm going to show you the box. We don't typically do this, but I think it's a special occasion, and I would like you to see the box. So as Heather mentioned previously, there are 255 of these figures. And how many of them will come with a pin, Heather?
145.
So as you can see, the front of it has my handwriting, and there it is being corrected once more. And on the back, it's my handwriting again. So I ended up writing out all of this. One day, Heather was like, write it all down in your own handwriting. And I did. And it looks horrible, but that is my handwriting after all. The same artwork for the box as the original Gastly, because my artwork for this figure would have never worked.
But
oh, go ahead.
I had Noelle make the fire a bit different and look as if it was sketched.
Oh, very nice.
So it has lines around it.
Oh, that's
like
cool.
You drew it, yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I don't think that's anything like my original drawing. Maybe just a little bit.
I don't remember you actually. Yeah, you did draw the box a little.
So
bit.
there's the hand-drawn Gastly there, and there's my writing on the inside as well.
You know what's funny? She actually made a font of your handwriting.
Oh my God, really?
That's how she did this, because you didn't write those. You wrote the story on the back.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Oh my God. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, she has your handwriting as a font.
Oh my God. Could anybody else say that? That's insane. So then the figure is really incredibly cool. So there is the sketch Gastly figure in all of his glory. Look at this guy. So there he is with all this like little sketchiness there. You turn him around, he's got little lines on his arms and legs. So Heather, let me see the original figure that we have over here. So there they are side by side for the very first time. Kind of give you an idea of how she perfected it, how Noelle perfected it, right? See, the teeth are a little bit better, a little bit closer to the nose. I had it a lot more droopier, I guess.
Yeah, so the reason that we didn't use the molded teeth is because there have been differences. Like, Noelle did perfect the teeth a little bit more, so we opted out of using the molded belt and the molded teeth.
Yeah, so on this regular Gastly, he actually has the little black lines that are here. They're actually indented in his arms and legs. It's as if he had... My original thought, I don't know exactly why I put them there originally, but I think it was to show almost like scaliness a little bit.
Oh.
But it almost looks like hair.
Yeah, it looks like he's really like he's Italian Gastly.
So the original idea of Gastly wasn't necessarily that he was coming out of like hell or netherworld. It was that think of him like in a band of like orcs and like ogres and trolls, like a big band of these big hulking creatures, like an army. He would be like the little guy at the end, you know, running behind. You see them all run past, and then you see him running at the end, trying to keep up. That's sort of what Gastly was originally going to be. That was the idea. In fact, I was going to even draw a helmet on him, but I thought against it. I decided not to do that. But then I eventually became, or the idea became that he was from the netherworld and he was becoming your best friend. He was digging out of the netherworld to become your friend. Because I wanted to be like my pet monster.
Mm-hmm.
And also like a pseudo gremlins. So it was like a 1980s amalgamation is sort of what Gastly became. Then after that, I had this incredible story, which Nick Mastermico, our friend, is helping me write, helping us bring together. We have to have a meeting with him. But I want to make Gastly into something even bigger and better. I have some really interesting ideas. I have some big dreams for him. I see Gastly as he's bigger than this little vinyl figure. He's bigger than all the things that we've done so far. I envision him to become like a huge cartoon thing. Like he could just be so many different things. I think we could do something cool with him, and that's my intention, is to do some cool stuff. Do you guys miss doing the cartoons? Yes and no. I would say
What I miss is the money that we spent
yes.
creating those animations.
Yep.
I was doing our books that year that we did the animations, and I was like, Chris, what the fuck did you do, and why did you do that?
So my original intention was, I was noticing a lot of other toy companies were making like little photos and posting it and saying, hey, you know, a new figure's coming. I wanted to make it a little bit bigger and better. Not bigger and better, but
Different
and more detailed, I guess. Like, I think when you animate something like Gastly, it connects you with the character a little bit more.
It's bringing him to life.
Bringing him to life, but connecting you. And I think that's what Mischief Toys has been from the very beginning. It's all about connection. It doesn't necessarily mean a connection to Gastly and Mischief Toys, but also connection of community. But there's always connection somewhere, and whatever you're doing with Mischief Toys, there's a connection somewhere. Either you're connecting with us right now by watching us and hearing us talk about it, connecting with the cartoons originally, or connecting with a friend who also loves Mischief Toys, and you can share your love for Mischief Toys together. Connection is such a huge part of all of this, and I wanted this to become much more than the figure. I always envisioned it that way. That's most important to me. And like I said, I think it's going. Mischief Toys is bigger. Gastly's bigger than just the vinyl toys. But we'll get there someday. Hopefully, my vision can grow. There's a lot of work to be done. Gastly, the animated movie, will be incredible. I would love that. I would love it. I wish, you know, in some way, shape, or form, we could connect with like Netflix or something, some sort of art house that could help us bring Gastly to life and do a real cartoon show or something. Because I think that the character has a lot of heart. One thing about Gastly, for me, that was so important, and I think is an important lesson for a lot of people, is that aside, obviously, from murder or something like really horrible, we all mess up in life in one way, shape, or form. We all can screw up, you know, in some sort of way. Maybe you weren't so nice to somebody growing up. You were a bit of a bully, and you grew up and you saw the error in your ways, and you're like, I really feel bad about how I treated that person, right? Or anybody for that matter. Gastly is he's proof that, or I want him to be proof that even when you do bad things, you can redeem yourself. And that's what Gastly's doing. He's climbing out of the netherworld. He's coming up to, you know, into the mortal realm, and he is he's having a redo.
Yeah.
Right? He's making a better life for himself. And that's important to me, because we all deserve a second chance. That's what Gastly is. He's a second chance.
Yeah, except sometimes he still gets into a little mischief, but it's not super mean mischief. It's just like a little mischief.
He is a little mischief. Look how small he is. He's a little mischief. So please celebrate with us on Wednesday, January the 22nd at 12 p.m. Eastern, and get yourself a 3-year anniversary sketch Gastly. Now, with these figures, there's going to be a handful that are signed, just like our original first run Gastly. We will not produce this one again. This is it. We're only producing this one, 255 of them. That is it. You're owning a piece of Mischief Toys history. I think that's important, especially with the pin. But we're developing something new. And
I don't want to talk about that right now. Is that okay?
You don't want to talk about it?
No.
Are you sure?
I think, yeah, we'll debut it when it's time.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I thought you had it in development already, no?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. All right, never mind.
No, we've been on vacation.
Yeah, never mind. I thought it was already in development. A show with all your great characters would be so awesome. I agree. I think we've designed a pretty good lineup. I like the lineup that we have so far. I think they're all great. All 3 characters are great. Actually, I mean, the reality is we have multiple characters, right? Multiple versions of Gastly. You have Gargoyle Gastly, Tiki Gastly. Vampire Gastly,
Uncle Gastly.
Uncle Gastly. You have all these different variants of Gastly, and I think that's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we got some more variants coming this year that some are truly from the heart. Some are really, really special. Some are incredibly low count. Some are our first licensing sort of deals ever. Really cool stuff. And I'm so glad to have you guys here with us and helping Mischief Toys grow and move forward and do incredibly fun and expansive things. Special things.
Very special.
Yeah. So hopefully you guys can get yours this Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Everyone forgetting about Tiki. I know. Tiki's a great figure, man. That's my dad's favorite figure. Of all the stuff that we do, my dad loves Tiki Gastly so much.
Yeah, he's awesome.
That's his favorite. And thank you, Zombie Monkey. I appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like button. That's right. Man, we've covered a lot tonight. You know, for those who do not know, we drove back from our vacation today, and I drove today for roughly about 6 hours. It was a long drive. We did most of our driving yesterday. I am so worn out. I'm so tired. But I'm glad that we could come on live. I'm glad we could put out a new video. Go and watch that video if you haven't already. Michael Duran shared with me some of the mystery artwork. I'm sorry, not prints, artwork, their original artwork, one of ones, that he developed for those who purchased artwork on the Mischief Toys group. If you're not on the Mischief Toys group on Facebook, go and join. Michael Duran made some incredible artwork, and I cannot wait for the people who purchased the mystery artwork to get them in hand because they are so sick. Michael Duran is such a great guy, a great artist, and has become such a great friend to us. We're able to meet him during our trip, travel, because he lives in Florida. So we were able to meet up with him and talk to him for a little while. Great guy. I foresee us doing some really, really cool things in the coming this year and years to follow. Really cool stuff.
Very cool.
In fact, he's also developing or designing one of our zombies for Living Dead Weekend.
Yes.
Yes. And it is sick, bro.
Yeah.
It is so cool.
Sick.
Yeah, so we're going to develop 3 different zombies for Living Dead Weekend. I've seen all 3. They are killer. One from Noel, one from Devin, and one from Michael Duran. I think you guys are in for a real treat. If you're going to be, or if you can be, in the Pittsburgh area in June, there's going to be the Living Dead Weekend. It's a little tiny convention at the Dawn of the Dead Mall, located near Pittsburgh.
In Monroeville.
In Monroeville. It's called the Monroeville Mall. It's where they filmed the 1978 Dawn of the Dead film. We're going to have a booth there. And I know a lot of people are like, holy shit, why would you do that? You're at New York Comic Con. You're doing all the big things. Why are you going there? Well, I'm going there because it's a dream of mine. I'm super stoked over it. And I hope that most of you, or a lot of you, will come and join us and hang with us. We're going to have super limited figures. These 3 figures will be incredibly low counts, and I do not expect to have any when we come home. So if you want to get them, you're going to have to come to the show, be there with us for the weekend. It's going to be great. Also, on top of that, we're going to be at AwesomeCon this year in Washington, D.C. Come and join up there as well. Just saw the final artwork for our figure that we're going to have there in April. It is going to be one wicked show with one very, very wicked brand new character. Well, sort of brand new character.
Stop.
But it's really, I'm not gonna spit it out. But it's something very, very, very cool at AwesomeCon. I'm stoked for that. So if you're going to be in the DC area for AwesomeCon in April, come and join up. I think you're going to absolutely love it. It is the year of Mischief Toys. 2025 is the year. It's going to be killer. I promise you. You're going to want to be at all the events that we're going to. We're going to have Coven of Mischief only merch at these events that are very special, that are in development right now. On top of that, Heather, when is the Coven of Mischief sign-up going to be? Is that going to be at the end of this month?
We will be announcing that after our anniversary.
Perfect. So
Yeah.
after our anniversary, which will be this upcoming Wednesday, look out for information about how you can join the Coven of Mischief.
Or rejoin.
we're going to have a lot to hit you with in 2025. And in a very pillow fight way, hit you. Very
That sounds
soft,
hot.
very soft and very hot. And it's going to be me in underpants hitting you with a pillow. How do you feel about that?
I think that that's not a good way to describe anything.
Thank you, Adam Ang. Awesome Con, April 4th through 6th, and Living Dead Weekend, June 6th through 8th. Those are the times that we'll be at those conventions. And, of course, at the end of the year, we'll be at New York Comic Con. 3 conventions this year. I would say the biggest year for Mischief Toys ever. We hope to see you there. That's all we've got for you. Make sure you tune in to Mischief Toys on Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern, January the 22nd. Do not miss out on this brand new Sketch Gastly figure. Get the figure, get the pin, get it all. It's real special. And then after that, in February, we're going to have Valentine's Day stuff. Very excited about it. It's going to be sick, bruh. When is the videos of NYCC coming out?
Very soon.
It's being worked on right now. We are dropped a preview video from our friend Zachary Stone, who filmed everything, edited everything. Great guy. We'll have that final version, hopefully in the next maybe month or so. We were talking about it earlier. So stay tuned. We'll have that ready to go for you. Thank you, everybody. Here's that little preview again. We love you. Have a good week. Be good to each other. We'll see you next week.
Bye.